went to the bathroom to pee in over 6.5 years. And that's a result of my kidneys originally failing while waiting for my second heart transplant back in 2004. Now, while I was blessed with a kidney transplant that lasted me 11 incredible years, God bless my angel donor, unfortunately, being that it was a cadaver donor, my transplanted kidney has since failed and I have been back on dialysis, awaiting a second kidney transplant now for the last 6.5 years. In having conversations with family, friends, and even a lot of you, it's come to my attention that many of you are not able to differentiate between which symptoms are related to myofibrillar myopathy and which are caused by my kidneys no longer functioning. And so I wanted to take a few minutes just to explain and elaborate so that you have a better understanding of how my quality of life will improve and how much better I will feel having received another kidney transplant. My blood type is O, so if you are interested in becoming a living donor and donating as the ultimate act of human benevolence, I am more than happy to send you the intake form and application. Just email me at oneman3hearts@gmail.com. Now I should start by explaining that the only symptoms associated with myofibrillar myopathy is muscle weakness, muscle stiffness, and possible muscle contractures, which means that everything else that I'm currently dealing with is a result of my kidneys no longer functioning. If you're not familiar with dialysis or what that is, I do have a video explaining the process in my second kidney transplant journey playlist. So I will link that above for your convenience. You can go check out that video and come back on over once you're all caught up. After watching the video, you should understand that our kidneys is one of the main filtration systems for our bodies. And so being that my kidneys no longer work, all of the fluid that I consume and all of the toxins that built up because of the fluids and the different foods that we eat, I am not able to clear that from my body on my own. Dialysis is a great alternative for that, but it does not work 100% as a normal, healthy, functioning kidney would. And so even though it's very beneficial and helpful to saving my life, there's still a lot of different symptoms that come along with being on dialysis. Again, as I mentioned, I do not pee at all, and so I'm not able to excrete so many of the toxins that come from the fluids and the foods that we eat. And being a renal patient, my dietary restrictions are very tough to handle. I have to avoid foods that are high in phosphorus, potassium, and I cannot overdo my fluid intake in between treatments because all of that stuff just sits in my tissue cells and can ultimately not just make me feel very sick, but can put me in a critical situation where I could possibly lose my life as a result of overdoing it. In between treatments, we are not allowed to have foods, again, that are high in potassium or phosphorus, which includes foods like potatoes, tomatoes, avocados, processed foods, and even dairy. We have to be careful with our fluid intake, and we are only allowed about 2 liters of fluid, which includes anything that melts at room temperature in between treatments. And I'm sure you can imagine that on a hot summer day or a day where you've exerted yourself and you're really thirsty, all you want to do is just chug a glass of water. But as a renal patient, that's just not something that we can do. We have to be very conscious about how many ounces are in a bottle of water, any fluid that's involved in rice, pasta, ice in our drink, yogurt, applesauce, ice cream, all of those things have to be accounted for, and so you have to be pretty disciplined. Otherwise, you can end up feeling really sick and put yourself in a dangerous position. Dialysis treatments themselves can be really rough. Very often, I'm left feeling wiped out, drained, and exhausted. My muscles are very achy. I get bad stomach cramps. I feel nauseous, bad migraines. My mouth gets really dry. My skin cracks and gets really itchy, dry eyes, blurry vision. There are so many different symptoms that can occur as a result of having all those toxins built up in our bloodstream. There are days that I have unknowingly overdone my potassium intake and my heart is pounding out of my chest with palpitations, and I start to really panic about the fact that I could have a heart attack at any moment. There has even been times where it's been so bad that I've had to go to the emergency room and get admitted for an emergency dialysis treatment just to get those toxins out of my body as quickly as possible. It usually takes me a good 12 to 16 hours before I start to get back to my baseline. So usually after dialysis treatments, if I'm feeling well enough, I'll meet up with producer Jennifer Cascardo on a conference call. We'll get some work done. And then after that, I'll try to take a nap until dinner time, and then I get up, have some food, although my appetite on the night of dialysis is never usually that great, so I try to go light. And I also try to not overdo my fluid on that first night, just so that I have a little bit more leeway in terms of how much I can drink the following day. On the night of dialysis, it's hard for me to sleep. I'm very restless again, just because of all the different symptoms, like the stomach cramps, the muscle restlessness, the dry eyes, the itchiness. My skin and eyes get so dry that's definitely one of the symptoms that bothers me the most. In fact, my skin gets so dry that either my mother or my caregiver has to actually scrape the dry skin off of my body just to give me a little bit of relief. Usually, after a good night's sleep the next day, I'm not feeling too terrible. But what I do know is that even on the days that I'm not feeling as bad, that's not as good as I could potentially feel having a fully functioning, healthy kidney. And so I know that once I get my transplant, I'm not even going to understand just how good I will feel and how bad I'm feeling right now until I have something to compare to. What's so funny with us as humans is that we naturally adapt and get used to situations. This has become my new norm, and I've just been going through the motions, and it's become a way of life for me. And so I almost can't even comprehend just how great I'll feel once I am blessed with another kidney transplant. And I seriously cannot wait for it. I am currently a status 1 priority on the list for a cadaver donor. And cadaver donors, as I mentioned earlier, they typically last anywhere from 10 to 15 years, whereas a living kidney donor can last anywhere from upwards of 25 plus years if you take care of the kidney and the quality of the kidney is in good shape.
I'm calling from the kidney transplant program with a potential organ offer that I wanted to see if you're interested.
They might have a kidney for me.
They got it.
It may.
Wow. Huh?
Even if it doesn't work out, I know.
It's
know
close.
this is a sign.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah,
close.
yeah.
It's close.
It's close. I'm also really excited to get so much of my life back, being that I spend a lot of time now strapped to a machine to get my blood cleaned, 3.5 hours 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And so it's hard to know that on those days I'm most likely not going to be feeling my best and that I can't do much. And so therefore I have to allocate my time on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays to do other things like appointments or even have fun with family and friends, because I know those are the days that I will be feeling my best. I'm also really excited to not have to worry about getting to treatments, having to have a respiratory therapist accompany just because I'm too much of a liability. I'm looking forward to being able to travel again, even if it's small local trips, just being able to get away with my family and friends, because as of right now, dialysis has me so limited, and waiting for my kidney transplant, I can't go further than 45 minutes away from the hospital or my area, and that is a real big hindrance, especially for the last 6.5 years. I have barely been able to go anywhere at all, and it's really limiting. And so I can't wait to have that freedom to just not feel like I'm so confined because of my dialysis treatments. And so essentially, by getting a kidney transplant, my whole life will improve. I can't even stress to you how much better quality of life I'll be able to enjoy, even living with this rare incurable disease called myofibrillar myopathy. Because with a second kidney transplant and no longer having to be on dialysis, the only issue that I'll have to focus on will be my muscle weakness and stiffness, which I could then try to work on with physical therapy and daily exercise and also nutrition. And so, again, if anybody out there is interested in being a living donor and would like to donate me their kidney, my blood type is O, I would be more than happy to share with you the intake form to see if you're eligible. Just email me at oneman3hearts@gmail.com. Please continue to support me by engaging with the channel, visiting and supporting my many support links that are located in the bio description of my homepage. There you'll find the links to my self-published book, my short documentary, my merch line, my memberships, as well as my GoFundMe to support all things One Man, Three Hearts and Christoph. I hope this video gave you guys a little bit of an insight into what dialysis is and just how crucial it is that I get another kidney transplant. I'm so thankful for you watching this video all the way through, and I really appreciate your continued support. I love you guys so much. Remember that I go live every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I also tend to pop up during the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so be sure to set your notifications to all on my homepage. Thanks again, everybody, and I really look forward to seeing you on the next episode.